Hey everyone, Joseph again, and this time with a short video to talk about this little 5-inch monitor made by Feelworld that I recently picked up for my little studio setup. The F5 is what it's known as, is one of many monitors in the Feelworld lineup, and as you can see, its format closely resembles that of the very popular small HD Focus 5-inch monitor. However, this little guy will only set you back about $160 on Amazon compared to the small HD Focus monitor, which runs right around $400, $425 depending on where you pick it up. So is the Feelworld F5 any good? Definitely some great things about this monitor and a few little nitpicky things that aren't so great. But stick around, let's take a look and you guys can be the judge for yourself. Unrelated to the Feelworld F5, but I am excited to share that I have been shooting these last two videos with a new camera body. Stay tuned to find out which one. But I'm still using the same Rokinon 35mm f1.4 lens that I've talked about in a few videos back. I'll link that video over here somewhere. Also new to this video is the Jinbei 150 watt LED light that I recently reviewed. And I'll link that review over here as well. And I'll add a link to the softbox, also new for this video, and I'll put that down in the description below. I really like the combo, and I may do a quick review of the softbox in the near future, so stay tuned. All right, let's jump in. Like nearly all of the products that I share with you guys, this Feelworld monitor is what I would consider the budget-friendly option to the otherwise accepted standard on the market, which would arguably be the small HD Focus. The F5 does come packed with quite a few of the same features as the Focus, which really kind of begs the question, you know, why pay over 2.5 times as much for something that does more or less the same thing? Especially if you're on a budget like I am. Obviously, you know, quality, how long it will last, its user interface, and even things like the customer support experience that you might have will play a big role when considering the budget version over the accepted standard. But, you know, my experience so far with the Feelworld line of monitors really has shown me that the gap between the accepted and the budget version is not as big as you might think. Initially, I picked up the Feelworld's F450 monitor just over a year ago, and I was surprised to find out that the main body of the monitor was, you know, all aluminum, which really kind of impressed me simply because anything that's, you know, machined out of aluminum must be, you know, generally more robust and more expensive to produce than something that's, you know, for example, made out of plastic. But over time, I realized that although the aluminum may be a stronger product, it also adds a lot of weight. So I was really cautious when purchasing the slightly bigger brother to the F4.5, the F5, thinking that maybe the larger aluminum chassis would be heavier, but it turns out that the F5 chassis is all plastic and substantially lighter, of course, relative to the F4.5, and is really not much bigger overall when you compare the two side by side. So I think it was more or less a wash when it comes to the size of the actual product itself. Let's take a quick look and find out what the F5 has to offer. In the box, you get the monitor, aluminum bracket, sunshade, USB charging cable, and of course the manual. The monitor feels solid enough, although I don't think it would do too well if it were dropped. Obviously, I'm not very inclined to find out. The button layout is clear if you are looking from the top of the monitor. but I find myself often having to move the monitor or position the monitor so that I can actually see the buttons from the top to make sure I'm pushing the correct button, and maybe that'll come, familiarity will come in time. The monitor has 2 custom function buttons, which can be customized to quickly access your favorite feature. Many of the Feelworld monitors, including the F4.5 and the new 5 F5, have full HD native resolution and support various 4K resolutions as well. This was actually one of the key reasons I looked at the Feelworld lineup over the small focus monitors. That and of course the price, which we've sort of covered. The display is very sharp and does well to represent true-to-life colors. But having said that, where I think this Feelworld monitor falls a little short, at least for the F4.5 and the F5, is that the user interface is still a bit lacking when it comes to the user experience. The menu system still feels very 10 years old, and clicking through each submenu leaves a lot on the table, especially seeing all of the other touchscreen interface monitors on the market right now. This is sort of where the small HD focus really shines. Once you're in the menu system, you'll see the monitor is feature rich with, the typical stuff, the histogram peaking, focus assist, false colors, zebra exposure, and anamorphic mode, just to name a few. Another item to note is the F5 screen brightness is in the 400 to 500 nit range, compared to something like the small HD focus, which is closer to about 800 nits. I found that for most situations, the F5 is plenty bright, but if necessary, I do have the option of adding the included sunshade to help kind of combat that direct sunlight. I have used the monitor in a couple situations where the bright, ambient, and direct sunlight was just too overwhelming and made seeing anything on the screen a real challenge. So if you plan to use the monitor in a bright, sunny condition kind of situation, especially like if you're on the ski slopes, which is what I'm referring to, or also in a boat in open water, keep in mind that 450 nits just might not cut it. Taking a look at the side, the F5 has a full-sized HDMI port in and port out for piping and outgoing signal to another monitor, kind of common on a lot of these monitors. The F5 has a power in for the charging, and like the small HD focus, the F5 also has an 8.4 volt power out so that you can charge your camera from the monitor using a dummy battery. It's a very nice feature, especially for many of the Sony A6500 users out there, I'd imagine. By the way, the battery dummy is not included, so don't get your hopes up. The F5 can be powered by 2 different battery types on the same backplate, which I think is pretty convenient, actually. It will accept the ever-popular Sony F-series batteries, as well as the standard Canon LP series batteries. Another bonus for the A6500 users is that the monitor does have a headphone jack built in, so you can monitor your audio as you record the video. Similar to the small HD focus kit is the aluminum bracket that allows the monitor to be mounted to a cold or hot shoe and flipped over from front to back, which is great when you need to see your framing or exposure from the front of the camera. Unfortunately, the monitor does not automatically flip the orientation of the image. You can, however, customize one of the function buttons to flip the image with just like, a single touch of a button. One aspect of the mounting solution that I really wish that they would change is the need to remove the 1/4-20 mounting tab from the bottom of the monitor if you prefer to not use the side mounting position. To do this, you'll need to remove 2 small Phillips screws to remove the tab. Then you'll need to locate the tab to its new location and reinstall the screws. Now, obviously, this is a very minor task if done once in a while, but if you are using this monitor in multiple setups and configurations, it does sort of add an extra step to the process. You can, however, bypass this process by picking up a second mounting tab from Feelworld's Amazon store for like $8. I'll add the link in the description below. Overall, the Feelworld F5 is a nice little monitor. When checking the boxes for the quality, its interface, and maybe that customer support experience that I mentioned earlier, I can honestly give this monitor a big thumbs up. My experience with the Feelworld customer service has been nothing but short of great. The US representatives are on top of their game and go that extra mile to, make sure that the customers are happy. It's true the interface falls a little short for me when comparing it to something like, the touch screen of the small HD focus monitor, but the clarity of the F5 display and the small size makes, this a really great budget alternative for those of us not able or willing to spend $400 to $500 on a 5-inch monitor. So that really kind of wraps it up for this video, guys. Hopefully this video shed some light on this little 5-inch budget-friendly monitor. Let me know your thoughts on the F5. I'll be sure to leave, as always, the links in the description below as well. If you haven't already, consider subscribing. I'll be posting new content in the near future. And if you found this video helpful in any way, maybe consider hitting that thumbs up button. And, at the very least, make sure you guys post any questions that you might have in the comments section below. I'm always able and happy to help. All right, until the next video, thanks for watching, everyone.